Lospinuso back with a brand new vlog. And as expected, considering today is finally opening day for the MLB season for 2022, I thought it would be right to finally give my predictions of what I think is going to happen for record-wise and even the playoffs for the MLB this season. Let's start with the American League East. In first place, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. I think that with 91 wins, I think with the off-season extensions, and I just think this team is ready to go. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had an MVP caliber season. I have the Blue Jays winning the division. Second place in the division, I see the two-time reigning AL East champions, the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they'll take a bit of a step back, but mainly because of the Blue Jays' dominance. But I still think the Rays are one of the top 4 teams in the MLB because they're the smartest organization. They know how to win in spite of financial woes, and I still think they're going to make it to the playoffs pretty easily. In third place in the division, I have the Boston Red Sox in as a third place team. Now, I see them being very, very close with the Yankees, but I think the impact of someone like Xander Bogaerts and, of course, the new addition of Trevor Story is what's going to get them over the top and above the Yankees. And speaking of the Yankees, I have them as the fourth place team. They're very, very close. And honestly, I would not be shocked if the top 4 teams in the AL East make the playoffs, considering how loaded that division is from top to bottom. I personally believe the Yankees will just miss out, mainly because I don't know which player is going to break out. I don't know if any of them will. But I think it's going to be very, very close, but I think they'll just miss out, but they'll be the fourth place team. And then finally, in last place, it's easily the Baltimore Orioles. They've made very, very little improvements. And when you're in a division where all 4 teams had 90 or more wins last season, how could you ever expect the Orioles to compete with that? No way in hell. For the AL Central, I think the White Sox are going to run away with this division. I think they're going to, in my opinion, I think they're the best team in the American League. I think they have the best roster, and I also think they have the best rotation out of the AL as well. In second place, I have the Minnesota Twins, mostly because, they had a down season last year, but, they've won their division like 2 years in a row. I think, with the addition of Gary Sanchez and Carlos Correa, that could really boost their offense up. But I still think, the AL Central is the weakest division in the MLB, and I think that's going to be the case this season. In third place, just behind the Twins, I have the Detroit Tigers. I like what the Tigers are putting together, especially with A.J. Hinch as the manager. I think he's one of the best managers in the game. I like their, young studs coming up, but I still think that's not enough to go further. In fourth place, I have the Guardians, the formerly Indians, now renamed the Guardians. They're kind of in the same position as like the Tigers and the Twins, where I could see some pieces helping them get there, but I think with the strength of the White Sox and just how their roster is constructed, I just can't see a situation where the Guardians make the playoffs. And because I have better faith in the Twins and Tigers rosters, I have the Guardians in fourth place. And then in fifth place, I have the Kansas City Royals. They're by far the worst team in that division. Even though I think it's the weakest division, they are the worst team in that division. They're going to be, I think they're better than the Orioles, though. I'll say that. I think they are a better team than the Orioles, but I still think they're a last place team in their own division. Now for the American League West. I have the Houston Astros winning their division again after making the World Series last year and losing. I still think, even without Carlos Correa, I think with Justin Verlander coming back, I still think they're going to be the talk of the town and the leader of the pack in that division. In a close second place, I have the Seattle Mariners. They were close last year to making the playoffs, missed by only a few games, but I think with the additions of Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez is what's going to get them to finally break their playoff drought. In third place, very, very close behind the Mariners, I have the Angels. Yes, again, another year of Mike Trout, another year of Anthony Rendon, another year of Shohei Ohtani, and they still don't make the playoffs. I can see the Angels making the playoffs potentially, but the way I'm looking at it, unless Syndergaard gets a big year. It's all going to be on that pitching. That's going to be my main focus. Like, how is their pitching going to do? If their pitching's going to take them over the top, then they'll be a wild card team in my eyes. But for now, I see them below the Mariners and missing out. Fourth place of the Texas Rangers. Marcus Simeon and Corey Seager were two massive free agents that went to the Rangers. However, in the division with the Astros, the Mariners, and the Angels, I just don't think the Rangers have what it takes to even make the playoffs. I mean, they could try. I think they'll be competitive, but I still don't think they're going to go all the way, nor do I think they're going to make the playoffs. And finally, in last place, you have the Oakland Athletics. I mean, they were competitive for years, blow it up again. And without Bob Melvin, now with the Padres, and no more Sean Manaea, no Chris Bassett, this is the team that's trying to be last in their division, and I think that's going to be the case here. Now for the National League. For the NL East, I have the Atlanta Braves. After winning the World Series last year, I see them winning their division for the... what is it? Will this be the 5th year in a row? Yes, the 5th year in a row. Even without Freddie Freeman, Marcell Ozuna's coming back. What is his name? The guy from the first baseman from the A's, the name escapes me. I think that was a big addition for them. Mike Soroka is coming back, so let's hope he's healthy. But I think the Braves are the best roster in the NL East, and I think that's what's going to get them to win their division yet again. Second place in their division, I have who I think could be the biggest enigma in the NL East, or maybe even the NL, the New York Mets. This is a team I could see either winning their division or ending up 4th in their division. I currently see them as 2nd in their division. The big move was trading for Chris Bassett and also signing Max Scherzer. Dom Smith's still there. Hopefully Francisco Lindor could have a bounce back season after a relatively disappointing 2021 season. But it's all going to come down to the health of the pitchers. But I still think they're going to do what it takes to make the playoffs, and I think they'll be the 2nd place team in this division. Third place, I had the Philadelphia Phillies. This was tough between them and the Mets, but I had the Phillies at 3rd place. My main reason is, yes, while they did bring in people like Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber and even Urias Familiar, I still think their defense is a little bit suspect. Now, this is a team I could see making a move down the line, but as it stands right now, I think they're a 3rd place team that's knocking on a wild card berth, but I could also see them easily missing it. 4th place in the division, I have the Miami Marlins. They're a nice young team, but compared to the rest of the top 3, I just can't see them going any further than 4th place, and it's a shame too, because I really want to see the Marlins be successful. Then in the last place, I have the Washington Nationals. I mean, this is the team that after winning their World Series, they've basically been at the bottom of the division. So at least you got to win it, but more than likely going to stay there for another year. For the National League Central, I had the Milwaukee Brewers winning their division again. Even with Christian Yelich underperforming last year, they still made it and won the division. The addition of Andrew McCutchen's a big one. You still have, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Devin Williams, and Josh Hader in the bullpen. I think their pitching staff is the best in the division. And again, I think the pitching is what's going to give them another division nod. Just behind them, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. I think this is the only other team I could see in the division competing for the division title. I think the Cardinals, they got Steven Matz this offseason, but I think there's more likely than not going to be a regression to the mean, as the main reason why they even made the playoffs last year was because of a 17-game winning streak they had late in the season that pushed themselves over the Reds. I don't see that happening this year. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they'll be close, but I think they'll miss out. In 3rd place, distant 3rd place, I have the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are a team that's in flux right now. They don't have their stars like they used to before. But I still think, considering the weakness of the other 2 teams in their division, they'll be better. But I still don't see them as a playoff team at all. 4th place, I have the Cincinnati Reds. No Castellanos, no Suarez, no Sonny Gray, no Winker. I mean, if there was a 6 seed last year, they would have made the playoffs and they would have been against the Braves. But now, Their owner decided to tear it all apart, and they're rebuilding yet again. It's got to be suck to be a fan of that team, but I still think they're better than the 5th place team, especially with Jonathan India having a rookie of the year type season last year. And then last place in the dweller, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates in the bottom, not just the National League West, but also the National League as a whole. This is the team that more than likely or not is going to get absolutely smoked by the Cardinals and the Brewers more often than not. And, the Pirates, it's just a shame. They're not a good team. They're not well constructed. They're not well run. You have a nice stadium, but outside of that, nothing to look forward to. The National League West, I have the Los Angeles Dodgers. After losing by a single game last year to the Giants, I see them retaking the division title this time. I think they're the best constructed roster in the entire MLB. I think the addition of Freddie Freeman and Craig Kimbrell are paramount to their success. I think Walker Buehler is going to have another good season, and I think they're by far the best team, at least on paper, in the NL West and the NL as a whole. Coming in second, I have the San Francisco Giants. I think they'll have a bit of a down year, especially with Buster Posey retiring. Though I do like the addition of Carlos Rodon. I think they're still a playoff caliber team, but I still think they're going to take a bit of a step back. I don't see 107 wins again for this team. But, stranger things have happened. Third place are the San Diego Padres, a team that many pegged to potentially compete with the Dodgers in that division. Ended up being a real disappointment by the second half of the season, as Tatis was still hurt and they just lost a lot of their games. With Clevenger now and Darvish in the second year in the system, Manaea was traded for. Now you have Bob Melvin. I think by definitely, at least on paper, the Padres are a playoff caliber team. I don't know if they're better than the Giants or the Dodgers, but I still think they are a really quality team that should compete for the playoffs. In third place are the Colorado Rockies. Not really much to say here. They got Chris Bryant. They lost Trevor Story, but I don't see them going anywhere. And lastly, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're a team that's in rebuild mode, and compared to the top three, both the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are in a very similar position where they're going to be near the bottom of the standings, and they're not a playoff team right now. Now, for my playoff odds of what I see for the seeding, I think the one seeded for the AL, I see the 1 seed being the White Sox and the 2 seed being the Astros. And for the 3 seed, which will not have a first round bye, I see it being the Blue Jays. For the three wild card teams, I see the Rays as the first one. I see the Mariners as the second one, and I see the Red Sox coming in as the third one. For the National League, I have the Dodgers as the 1 seed and the Braves as the 2 seed for the first round buys. For the 3 seed and the other division winner, I see the Milwaukee Brewers getting that. And as for the wild card teams, I see the Giants as the 4 seed, the Mets squeaking by with the 5 seed, and then the Padres also in with the 6 seed. As for what I think is going to happen in the playoffs, in the wild card round, I see the Blue Jays and the Rays advancing, and in the National League, I see the Giants and the Padres advancing. I see both. I see both of the NL West wildcard teams advancing. And as for the divisional rounds, I think the Astros and White Sox will advance. And I think take that back. I see the White Sox and the Blue Jays actually advancing. I see the Blue Jays snapping the Astros' 5-year ALCS streak. I think the Blue Jays have the roster that could surprise some people in the playoffs. And as for the National League, I see another Dodgers and Braves NLCS. I know 3rd year in a row, but these teams are building quite a rivalry, and I love to see it. And for my World Series prediction, I think the Dodgers will come out of the National League and the White Sox will come out of the American League. And as for my final score, I think the Dodgers will beat the White Sox and then World Series in 6 games. But that's just my thoughts on what I think is going to happen this year in the MLB season. What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know your season predictions and your playoff predictions in the comments below. Subscribe to Zenny62 if you haven't already. Like this video if you haven't already. Be notified for new videos if you have not already. And take care, everyone, and let's play ball. Peace out.